They can come together and identify ways to evolve without erasing the main essence of who they are or were. They're the ones who carry the organizational memory, not just of what happened, but of what mattered. They tend to speak in values. They always act with integrity. They don't have a lot of time for people with egos, and they will protect purpose over popularity. Hey everyone, it's Amy Lynn Durham, and you're listening to Create Magic at Work. Create Magic at Work is on a mission to equip senior leaders with tools they need to be a true quantum leader and actually understand what that means. Improve employee engagement, retain top talent, and transform your workplace culture to have less drama and stress. So let's start making magic. Let's not forget why we started. We really need to be rooted in our mission. Our mission is not just a slogan. I really want to check in right now and make sure we're actually living our company values that we promised. I remember when this place felt different and better. We owe it to our people to stay rooted in our purpose. Hey, it's Amy. Welcome back to Create Magic at Work. This summer, I'm guiding you through a solo series exploring how people move through change using a framework that we use here at Create Magic at Work. All the executive coaches utilize it, called the Archetypes of Change from Dr. Judy Neal. It's a framework that helps leaders understand their relationship to change as it relates to time and transition and transformation. I kicked off with a few quotes that a Flamekeeper would say if there was a Flamekeeper that you worked with, or if you are a Flamekeeper. Throughout the last couple of weeks, we've already met the placeholder and the guardian in the archetypes of change. There's 5. And today we're going to talk about the Flamekeeper. So the Flamekeeper isn't afraid of change, but they're fiercely protective of meaning. And I'm going to share a story about one of my clients that'll help you understand what a Flamekeeper is like, so you can identify, maybe if you identify as one, or if you recognize someone that you work with that is like a Flamekeeper. So let me tell you about Layla. Layla had been working for her nonprofit for about 14 years. She wasn't the founder, but she was very close to being the founder, as if she was the founder. Everyone knew that if you wanted to understand the roots of the organization, the heart of the organization, how the organization became into being, you could hear the stories from Layla. She knew the company's mission inside and out. She would tell stories and remember the first community they ever served, the first donor check they cashed, the promise that started it all for this nonprofit. So when a new leadership team came in with plans to modernize their brand and digitize their services and go where funding is, maybe in a different direction, Layla didn't object at first. But then when their new website went live, and to Layla, their language seemed super quote unquote corporate, and it barely mentioned their original purpose, Layla decided to communicate that and to bring it up in meetings and discussions. She would say things like, I just think we need to remember who we are. And a lot of times when these different archetypes are playing out in the workplace, especially with people that can embrace change and move fast and sense the future, people can often see them as holding them back, or they'll roll their eyes like, oh, here goes Layla again, holding us back or pointing out XYZ. People would tell her, we're evolving. This is how we can stay competitive. And then weeks passed by, and every time something shifted further with all of this change away from their founding vision, Layla felt more and more isolated. And one day she spoke up in an all staff meeting and she said, I want to make it clear I'm not resisting change. I just don't want us to lose the soul of our company in the process. And when she shared that, that helped everybody remember what was really important with their company. And it kind of gave them a new way of looking at things. That one statement. Maybe it's a different statement for someone else, but for some reason that one really stuck. So her story really helps share with everyone what a flamekeeper looks like and how a flamekeeper can recenter a team around the founding mission of a company or an organization. And together, they can come together and identify ways to evolve without erasing the main essence of who they are or were. The flamekeeper of your team holds the why. They're the ones who carry the organizational memory, not just of what happened, but of what mattered. They tend to speak in values. They always act with integrity. They don't have a lot of time for people with egos. They love authenticity, integrity, like I said, and they will protect purpose over popularity. They're often the leaders you run into in your workspace that are the storytellers, the legacy holders, and the people that really anchor into the mission of the company. So when change goes through an organization, the flamekeeper asks, hey, is this in alignment with who we said we would be? They're not stuck in the past, but they stand in principle. Hey everyone, Amy here. Let's talk about work realities for a second. Whether you're dealing with a tough boss, struggling with team miscommunication, feeling stuck in decision making, let's be real, work drama exists and it's exhausting, but it doesn't have to be this way. At Create Magic at Work, we help leaders like you cut through the chaos, build next level communication skills, and make better, faster decisions without the stress spiral. Whether you're leading a team or just trying to keep your sanity at work, we've got your back. We coach executives and teams like yours to develop interpersonal savvy, drive engagement, and bring your vision and purpose to life so work actually feels energizing again. Imagine that. More engagement, more productivity, less drama. Our executive coaching team has been in your shoes. We've led teams, navigated workplace challenges, and know what it takes to help you succeed and achieve your goals. Real experience, real talk, and real results. If you're thinking, yes, Amy, we need this at my work, then let's talk. Click the link in the show notes and let us help you and your teams become a high-performing, engaged, and productive force of clarity and calm. I'll see you in the Zoom room. Let's throw the stress and drama out the window. Click on the link in the show notes. But there's shadow sides to everything, and there's shadow sides to the Flamekeeper. They can tend to cling to old language systems or heroes. They can become inflexible about evolution, and hence the name Flamekeeper. They can get burned out fighting for ideals in places that don't want to hear them. They might even be called dramatic, idealistic, or impractical, but when they're at their best, Flamekeepers can be the moral compass of your organization. So let's think about this. Take a deep breath and think about a time where something shifted in your workplace. Maybe it was a rebrand, maybe it was a new policy, maybe it was a whole restructure of who's reporting to who, a whole organizational restructure, new leadership team, and acquisition. We've seen it all. A rollout of a new AI. Let me add that because that's big right now, a new AI initiative. And ask yourself, who reminded everybody when this rollout was happening, when this change was happening, of why you started, why the company started? Who carried the values into the room when no one else did? Who tells the story that brings everybody back to center, the story of why the organization was created? That's your Flamekeeper. And maybe it's you. And if you're someone who holds the soul of the organization when everyone else is rushing towards the next thing, you matter. And if you're leading a Flamekeeper, try this next time. Instead of the eye roll, like, oh gosh, so and so's sharing the whole how the company started again. or they're afraid that we're losing the purpose of why we're here. We're just trying to get this rollout happening. So if that's happening, take a pause and try this instead. Let your Flamekeeper speak first at the strategy table. Ask them what traditions they think are worth carrying forward, and invite them to check your decisions against your values and your mission. Give them that voice, because when you do, it will be a game changer, and you will move through change faster with less resistance, and everyone will be on board. So here are a few things that help Flamekeepers thrive in particular. Exercises around personal and team values, journaling about those, revisiting the organization's mission. They love to revisit the mission with their team. So you could give them that role, maybe in the beginning of a meeting, like kick off with making sure we're reminding ourselves of our mission, right? Storytelling sessions to reconnect to the company's origin and the company's why. That's a great role for the Flamekeeper. Asking them what's working well and how do you protect it. If you're a Flamekeeper listening and you think, oh my gosh, I'm kind of a Flamekeeper, try to connect with other people that value what you value, and take a moment to make a list of your own guiding principles and keep them close to you. Because as things change, maybe the company you're working for is not in alignment with what you want, and that's okay. Because as things grow, maybe it's time for you to grow to a different place. Or maybe you become that amazing voice in the room that keeps the soul of the organization intact as your organization moves through change. At Create Magic at Work, we use this Archetypes of Change foundation from Dr. Judy Neal in our executive coaching engagements to help teams and leaders reconnect to purpose, realign with values, and evolve without losing their soul. So we do private one-on-one coaching. We do group coaching workshops, and we also deploy the Archetypes of Change assessment to organizations. We can see an overall view of where your team is sitting in relation to change and how they operate. And we can also see how each individual, what archetype is strongest for them. And this has been a game changer for people in the workplace, because rather than bulldozing through people or just pushing through change, saying, get on board or trains leaving the station, everybody has a place and everybody has a voice in the change initiative. And it just moves so much faster with so much ease and grace and with so much peace and less stress. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me. We're happy to talk about that. We're doing quite a bit of engagements with companies right now on that. But for the Flamekeeper, they play a critical role in recentering organizations during transformation. So go to createmagicatwork.net, explore our programs, reach out, and I'm going to leave you with a final challenge this week. Look for the Flamekeeper in your life. When you find them, ask them, what parts of our purpose feel most alive to you? What values do you think we're honoring well? And what are we at risk of losing if we move too fast? Look for that Flamekeeper on your team or in your company. And if that Flamekeeper is you, let your voice be heard, because your voice is the most rooted in the soul of the company. Next week, you get to meet the heart tender. The heart tender is the one who creates belonging when everything feels like disconnected and change. And there's much more to the heart tender than that, but tune in to hear more. Until then, let's honor the Flamekeeper, the one who protects purpose and keeps the soul of the company lit. I'll see you next week, sending magic your way. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming back every week to listen to a new episode of Create Magic at Work, and really helping to support and advocate for healthy leaders, workplaces, and lives for all of us. If you want any information on how to connect with me, click on the link in the show notes. You'll get access to all of the social media links for Create Magic at Work. Stay following along for more amazing episodes where we help you improve productivity and profitability in the workplace and decrease stress. Sending magic to everyone, and see you next time.